Hi guys, welcome to the channel Learn Concepts with Nikhil. Discover, learn and grow. So in this video, we will be learning about Agile Scrum, right? In the previous video, we have learned about Agile, right? Now we will be learning about Agile Scrum. So let's go through the definition. Scrum is an agile framework. As I said you before, Scrum derived from agile. So it is an agile framework that organizes work into time boxed iterations. So you will be having some time boxed iterations. In agile, I said you like it is an iterative process, right? In Scrum, we will be having some time boxed iterations, which is called as sprints. And each sprint will be lasting around 2 to 4 weeks. Ideally, in software companies, as I worked in a Scrum methodology in my first company, actually, I have worked only in one company. So, first or last company is that one company only. So, in that company, I have worked in a sprint which lasts around 2 to 3 weeks. So yeah, but typically it will be between 2 to 4 weeks to deliver incremental improvements, right? Iterations are done to do incremental improvements, continuous improvements, right? So Scrum will be having some time boxed iterations which are called as sprints, which is typically between 2 to 4 weeks to deliver continuous improvements and incremental improvements quickly. It emphasizes on collaboration, adaptability, and continuous feedback. As I said you before, it emphasizes on collaboration, like going to the customers or going to the client and showing them the demo and taking the continuous feedback from them and making the adaptable changes in the next sprint so that we can make the better software. So that is about Agile Scrum definition. Next is key components of Scrum. Key components of Scrum. Okay. In Agile Scrum, there will be only three roles, right? There will be only three designations or three roles. There won't be any product manager or business analyst. In Scrum, he will be called as a product owner or product owner. Business analyst can be also called as product owner when following the Scrum methodology. So the Scrum roles are: first is product owner. He defines and prioritizes the product backlog, and he represents the customers or the client. So we can call product owner as a business analyst also. Next is Scrum Master, facilitates the Scrum process and removes blockers. So he's nothing but he is the master of the entire process of the sprint. Next is development team, is nothing but we can call development team like you'll be having design team or development team, testing team, but the role designation name is development team, but you will be having design team, testing team also in the development team in the Scrum methodology, right? Of the Scrum methodology. These are the key components, not key components. These are the key roles in the Scrum methodology. And Scrum has majorly four parts of Scrum. There are majorly four parts or majorly four events of the Scrum. First is sprint planning. Before your sprint starts, sprint is nothing but I said you right, 2 to 4 weeks of development phase, time iteration, like time box iteration. So first there will be sprint planning. Sprint planning is nothing but before starting of the sprint, we will be doing the sprint planning key, like in this sprint, in the upcoming sprint, what are the improvements we have to do, what are the things we have to work on, like defining the sprint goals and tasks. As I said you before, we will be defining the goals and tasks of the upcoming sprint. Next, there is daily stand up while developing the software, right? While developing the process and software, we will be having a daily stand up of 10 to 15 minutes about as it mentioned before, a short daily meeting to track progress. So it will be tracking progress. Like we will be talking in the daily stand up about what we have done yesterday and what we will be doing today. And we will be tracking the progress. Scrum Master and Product Owner will be taking this daily stand up. Next is sprint review. Sprint review is nothing but demonstrating the completed work to stakeholders. You have built the software. You have built the software in the sprint, right? Then you will be going to sprint review. Sprint review is nothing but you will be giving the demo to the stakeholders so that they will be giving some more continuous feedback. Next is sprint retrospective. Sprint retrospective is nothing but it is after completion of the sprint. You will be reflecting on the sprint, like you will be seeing the on the sprint, and you will be analyzing like what went wrong and what needs to be improved. So now let's discuss about Scrum artifacts, guys. So artifacts are nothing but we can call it as documents. So there are three types of documents. First is product backlog, second is sprint backlog, third one is increment. So product backlog is nothing but they are the list of futures or tasks. Like all the sprints needs to be completed, right? In order to give the perfect working software, we have to complete some specific list of futures and tasks, right? Those tasks and futures are documented in a particular sheet that is nothing but product backlog. Sprint backlogs are nothing but these are the tasks selected for the current sprint. If suppose there are 20, if suppose there are 20 backlogs, right? Overall, for the working software, there are 20 backlogs, and let's assume there are 5 sprints. So for each sprint, we have to complete 4 backlogs, right? So we will be prioritizing the sprint backlogs based on some prioritization techniques. So sprint backlog is nothing but these are the tasks selected for the particular sprint. In my first sprint, I will be completing 1 to 4 tasks or 1 to 4 futures. In the second sprint, I will be completing around 5 to 8 tasks or 5 to 8 futures. We can call it as user stories too. There is a slight difference between user stories as well as futures. We will be discussing when we will be learning about the user stories. So yeah. So sprint backlog is that what are the particular user stories or tasks needed to be completed in current in particular sprint karke. So increment is nothing but the working product delivered at the end of the sprint. As simple as that. 1 minute, guys. Next is DOR and DOR and DOD. Yes. So in sprints, right? There will be in sprints there will be 2 types of terminologies, DOR and DOD. DOR is nothing but a definition of ready. So let's see the definition. A checklist that ensures a user story or a task is ready to be worked on by the development team. As simple as that. But in order to say simply, a particular user story is ready for the development team to work on. Right? We will be talking about user stories in the next slide after DOD. But DOR is nothing but a user story is ready. User story is nothing but a backlog is ready to work by the development team. Development team has to work on that particular user story or the backlog. That is nothing but DOR. Ensures clarity, feasibility, and completeness of requirements before development begins. Okay. So user story will be having the particular, like not particular, perfect requirements. Example criteria for DOR. The user story is well defined and understood. Said before, it should be with the perfect requirements and perfectly crafted. Actually, the syntax, not we cannot call it as syntax, but the format of the user story is as a user dash I want dash so that I can dash. It means as a user, I want to as a user of let's take an example of as a user of e-commerce website, I want to find the products easily so that it can make my life easy and save my time. So that is the format of user story, but we will learn about user stories in detail in the next slide after DOD. So next is acceptance criteria are clearly stated. In user story, after writing the user story, you will be writing some acceptance criteria. We will be learning that practically too. Next is dependencies are identified and resolved. The task is estimated and prioritized, right? You will be prioritizing the particular user story. This is DOR. DOR is nothing but a user story or a particular backlog is ready so that development team can be worked on it. DOD is nothing but somewhat different from DOR. DOD is nothing but definition of done. What happens here is in a particular sprint, the particular user story or a particular backlog is completed, right? Particular user story is and particular backlog is completed, and it is also tested, and it is released for the real users, like in production environment. DOR is nothing but a user story is ready for the development team to work on. That is DOR. DOD is nothing but a user story is completed, developing, testing, and is ready for releasing in the real world. That is production environment. This is the difference between DOR and DOD. So let's see what is the definition. A checklist. Checklist is nothing but the list of user stories. A checklist that defines the criteria of it for a task or the user story to be considered completed and ready for release. As I said you before, DOD, a user story is ready for the release. Ensures quality, consistency, and completeness of the work delivered. Okay. Example criteria for DOD. Code is written, reviewed, and merged. So before releasing it to the actual users, right? Real world users, production environment, the code is written and reviewed and merged also. Like it has been done, tested, right? The testing has been done. I saw. Unit and integration tests pass. Okay. Documentation is updated. We will be updating the documentation that this user story or this task has been released. Okay. And the last point is the feature is deployed to a test or production environment. Production environment is nothing but it is released for the use of people, actual people, real world actual people. So next we will be learning about user story. In the next video we will be learning about user story so that it can be more clear for you. So thank you guys. Bye.